No, you're fine right now, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025 at 6:04 p.m. Can we please stand, and Jason is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Haynes,
Yes.
Moran,
Here.
Pollier,
Here.
Rourke,
Here.
Smith.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Now we'll move on to the next section of our agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we will proceed to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 14th, 2025?
So moved.
Okay, moved by, that's okay, moved by Ms. Moran. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Moran,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Pollier,
Yes,
Rourke.
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to administer the oath for anyone that's going to be giving testimony tonight, and I'll turn that over to Assistant City Attorney Roth.
Thank you, Ms. Polly. Will the, I guess, appellants who wish to have their matters heard tonight please rise to be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are to give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, state I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our next section of the agenda, which are the public hearings, the appeals, and I'm going to read the first appeal into the record, which is PAB-0002-2025, Sidewalk Maintenance Program Appeal, Code Section 903.4, 909 Harmony Drive, Michael Greiner, Appellant, Department of Engineering, Appellee. And I'm going to just briefly speak to the rules of procedure for the public hearing. There will be an opportunity for public comment. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. The appellant will be allowed 15 minutes, and that's a combined time for the appellant and any interested party. The appellee will be allowed 15 minutes. Again, that's a combined time for the appellee and any interested party. The appellant will then be allowed 5 minutes for further argument or rebuttal, and the appellee will be allowed 5 minutes for further argument or rebuttal. And then comments and questions of the board shall be allowed during the course of the hearing. As far as the disposition of appeals go, in any appeal of an order, adjudication, or decision, the board may find in favor of the appellant or appellee, find in favor and amend with modifications, or remand with instructions to the city official, employee, or body for further consideration and action. Okay, so given that, we will begin with the first item, and would the appellant like to make a comment?
Something that in
Can you come up to the podium, please? State your name and address, please.
Michael Greiner, 909 Harmony Drive,
And can you state your relationship to the property?
owner.
Okay.
Owner.
Okay, please proceed.
After having a talk with the attorney, I've decided to withdraw my appeal.
Okay. So noted. Would you like to make a request to have your filing fee refunded?
I would.
Okay. Then I will ask for a motion to, since seeing that the appeal has been withdrawn, I'll ask for a motion to refund this gentleman's filing fee. Can I get a motion to do that, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
What's your last name again? I'm so sorry.
Haynes.
Haynes, I'm sorry. Seconded by Ms. Haynes. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Smith,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Rourke,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Pollier.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. The motion carries. Thank you for your
Any
time.
idea how that is handled, like through finance?
As far as,
The refund?
Yes, council office will submit a request through finance for the refund.
Okay,
Yeah. It'll take a couple weeks to get to you, but yeah.
okay. And then does he need to communicate with you at all about not opting out and being opted in?
no, we will take record through this meeting and proceed as according.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You're good to go.
Now?
Yep, you're good to go. Thank you very much. We'll move on now to the next item on our agenda, which is new business. And the item on our agenda for that is a filing fee refund that's been requested for another withdrawn appeal. And I'll read this into the record. PAB-0001-2025, Sidewalk Maintenance Program, Appeal Code 903.4, 341 Chilton Place, Mary Burkett, appellant, Department of Engineering, appellee. What happened here was that Ms. Burkett withdrew her appeal on March 12, 2025, and has requested a refund of the $50 filing fee. Can I get a motion, please, to approve the $50 filing fee refund to Ms. Burkett? Thank you, Mr. Rourke. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Rourke,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you. And moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is the proposed rules and amendments. And this is Rules-001-20, Property Appeals Board, proposed amendments to Rules of Procedure 25 from April 29th, 2025. And the city attorney has submitted proposed amendments to the Rules of Procedure for the board to review. Can I begin by asking for any comments from the law department or the clerk on the proposed changes?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Tamala looked at these rules. She actually looked at the rules for all of the boards and commissions. She is trying to make them as cohesive as possible so that there are not different rules and different timelines for the different boards. So wherever things could be matched up, she did that. There was also, in regard to this board, when the rules were first drafted several years ago, there was a provision for calling city staff to come testify before the hearing, and it didn't really seem to make any sense because the appeals that this board hears are going to have, the city is going to be the appellee in these, and, you know, the respective departments and employees will be here as, you know, to give testimony. So we didn't see a need for the board itself to be requesting other members of the city administration. So she struck that out of here. But other than that, they're all very straightforward, changing 7 business days to 5 business days because 7 business days just doesn't seem to make sense in regard to anything. But other than that, she was just trying to clean this up. We haven't had to deal with the rules a whole lot since since this board was created. But once she sat down and looked at it, she thought they could be refined and made better.
And we'll now move to discussion from the board. We'll start on my left with Ms. Smith.
I was just looking for the last provision you were talking about. Right, Article 11.
Yes.
Okay. And why did they decide to delete that?
Because the city staff that holds relevant information will be here as the appellee anyway. So there wasn't a need to have any additional staff being called by the board itself. So like tonight, this dealt with an engineering problem. People from the engineering department are here because we'd have to put on a case with them.
guess my only question would be, what if we decided in our discretion we needed to talk to somebody else? Shouldn't we be able to ask that somebody else be present?
Well, that was the third part of our rule, of our, what we can do, right?
We can remand with instructions to the city official, employee, or body for further consideration action. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Roth, it seems that we would then, at that point, remand with the instructions to whomever we felt was necessary to come back and then have to reschedule the hearing. Is that correct?
I guess you could. When Ms. Tamilarison looked at it, she just couldn't fathom a situation where there would be a need for someone from another department than the one that was relevant for the appeal. So, I mean, it's possible you could come up with a scenario. She just didn't think that was a likely scenario.
I guess, Madam Chair, I guess I would ask also in that regard, as opposed to after the hearing, the option to remand, right, after we've heard, I'm looking at it in advance. If we have some issue that comes before us, I mean, all we've heard so far are the sidewalk appeals, but there may be other issues, right? That once we've reviewed in preparation for the hearing, that we decide we want to have somebody else come in. I don't know. We have a hearing regarding dogs barking or something, some other kind of nuisance. And we decide that we want somebody else to come in, a witness, either a police officer or somebody else from the city. I guess I just don't like the idea of a modification of the rule that takes away our ability, our discretion to be able to call somebody else in the event that we might need to, as opposed to somebody else making that decision for us, who's not the one making, the decision maker on the board.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Mr. Wark?
In that scenario, I can see, I can agree with that. Other than that, I don't have anything else with that.
And then on my right, Ms. Haynes?
I think that's a good point that you bring up. I don't have anything further to add.
Okay. And Ms. Moran?
I think that as a board here, to limit the authority of a board that is intended to create transparency and a process for the citizens of Gahanna goes against what we were created to do. And so anything that would limit the scope of this board in order to enhance that transparency or provide all the relevant information necessary, I would oppose.
I don't have any comments. I mean, we could move to adopt the rules. We could move to adopt the rules and amend the red lines of Article 11. Or we could move to adopt the rules and then just take a vote. Does somebody want to make a motion to do one of those things?
I think we should first move to amend the rules, and we've already seconded, then we would have this discussion, right?
Yeah.
And then we would have a motion to amend, if we want to move to strike the changes to, I think it's section 11. And then that amendment would be voted on, and then,
Okay. How do we, I'm not sure how to set that
Do we
up.
amend first?
Yeah.
no, we have to have the motion first, and then it has to be amended.
That is correct, what Ms. Smith has outlined. But Madam Chair, if I could,
Yes.
just to contribute a little bit to the dialogue here,
Please.
since it does concern the role of the clerk in this, I'm just wondering, for practical purposes, how this would be implemented. If you look at 11.2, does that mean any board member can make a request? Does it mean the whole board has to make a request? Because how do you have that with open meetings? So that's kind of my,
And that wasn't contemplated before, was it?
right, right.
Good point. I suppose it would be the board voting by a majority as to whether or not there is an additional person that needs to be called.
I would read that to say that if any member feels they need somebody else from the administration to be there, they would communicate through the chairperson 48 hours in advance, the chairperson would communicate that to the clerk, who would then communicate to the city staff member. But it wouldn't be something like in the middle of a meeting or at the end of a meeting after you've heard something. It would be something you would foresee in advance of the meeting.
Right, that would be
Yeah.
preferable.
It would have to be done in advance.
Yeah.
Maybe either communicate that to the chair or to the clerk, or both.
Yeah,
Which elected official is being requested to be there. Also understanding too, though, the availability of elected officials might be limited.
Employees, not just elected, also public.
yeah.
Okay, appointed officials,
Yeah.
excuse me, elected officials, appointed officials, still though, availability might be limited as to whether they can be there at our designated meeting time, but, certainly if it's communicated.
The earlier it's communicated, the more likelihood that they could have the person here.
Yeah.
But if it's 48 hours and the person is out of town on vacation, you could always continue the hearing to
the next
to another
meeting.
date.
Yes, that is true too. Okay, then, is there any further discussion? By anyone? Okay. So then we have to first move to adopt the proposed changes. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Point of clarification, the changes that we're adopting are striking section 11.
Yeah, all the red lines.
So we're striking all of that, but the rest of the changes we're okay with. So we're just striking 11. That's what the motion is.
Well, this motion is to adopt the changes as submitted.
And then we will amend.
And then we'll amend, so we'll adopt the
Okay.
changes, and then we'll do another motion to amend the changes to strike the red lines that she proposed for Article 11.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay,
Okay.
okay. Did I get a second? I'm sorry.
Oh, second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rourke. Is there any further discussion? Okay,
I'll move to amend
okay.
per the discussion. I think is that just striking all of Article 11? Or is there a revision?
Other than section 11.4, which says that the city attorney or their designee is a legal advisor for the Property Appeals Board?
Without the changes
was-
to Article 11.
Okay,
So I move to adopt the proposed changes to the rules, but without the changes to sections 11.1, .2, and .3.
so we're basically leaving, just to clarify, we're leaving Article 11 as is, without the red lines?
Correct.
Okay.
So we got the motion, the second, so we need to do a roll call, right? For the.
This is
to
the roll
adopt
call.
this?
Yeah, motion to amend. Did somebody second the motion? to
I'll
amend?
second the
Okay.
motion to amend.
I thought, okay. All right, Ms. Moran
Question.
seconds that. And then now we need to take a roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
So this roll call is
For the
only
first.
on the motion to amend, striking
Yes.
Article 11.
Yes.
Actually, not striking Article 11, keeping it in place,
Yeah, the
right?
changes to Article.
Okay. Smith,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Pollier,
Yes.
Rourke,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay.
Now,
Now we have to move to adopt
The rules as amended.
the rules as amended, which then strikes the red lines from Article 11 and keeps Article 11 as is.
Yep.
Can I have a motion to do that, please?
We already had the motion, and
Oh my
the motion by
gosh.
Smith and second by Rourke.
This parliamentary procedure is so confusing to
Yeah.
me. Okay, is there discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, I'm sorry, okay, sorry. Seeing none, can we take the roll, please?
Smith,
Yes.
Rourke,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Pollier,
No.
Haynes.
Yes.
All right.
Motion carries. Okay. We'll now move, that looks like that concludes our new business for the evening. So we'll now move to the next section on our agenda, which is to poll members for comments. And I'll start on my left again with Ms. Smith.
No comments, except thank you for everybody for having this process move so smoothly.
Agreed. Mr. Rourke? Ms. Haynes?
Comment.
Ms. Moran?
Great meeting. I do think if we had some context to some of the rules with
perhaps some form of conversation or explanation in advance, it may have been more helpful to moving that forward. But otherwise, thank you for a great meeting.
I just want to welcome Ms. Haynes to the board, and just give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Holly Haynes, resident of Gahanna in Ward 2. I have lived here for about going on 4 years, I believe. Very excited to be here and to contribute and support the city.
We appreciate your willingness to step up and join us on the board, and we look forward to working with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody else for making themselves available for the meeting this evening. Appreciate everybody's time. And if no other comments, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And no further business, we are adjourned.